So I'm in the car and we're on our way to Premiere Upholstery, where we're going to take a look at the cushions and the reupholstering of the seats, the 6 airplane seats for my Cessna 310. It's really snowy out, so I can't just stare at the camera here. Anyway, from what Ed, the owner, told me, the seats have been completely I had to be completely redone, and apparently for the first time. They've been reupholstered several times in the 52 years this plane has been in existence, but unfortunately the previous owners elected to just kind of put things on top of what was there. So it's the original webbing, they added wood, all kinds of stuff that we're going to see, I hope. I haven't talked to the owner about whether or not I can film while he's showing me this stuff, but I'm hoping we can, because it should be pretty cool. So I'm gonna skip ahead. It's gonna take me about 20 minutes to get there, but it should be pretty interesting to see. All right, we're here. Looks like some other people are here. They're technically closed today, although they have the open sign. So, but there's Premiere Upholstery. It's a pretty simple shop, but they've been doing aviation stuff for decades. So let's see what we got going on here. Hey, we're here at Premiere Upholstery. I'm with Ed, and we're going to get a tour of my all the pieces and parts from my seats. Ed, you can say hi real quick. How long have you been working on airplanes? Or
45 years.
45 years. Like so he's the expert. It's going to be a really cool tour.
There's all our seats. Okay.
Oh, up on the back wall over there?
Yeah, and they're puffy, and when I look at them, I wonder why. I really don't know why they're like that until I take them apart.
Can I just zoom in?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can watch your step. We got a million things around here. Each one's with its respective frame, so
right.
You know, I can keep them all situated. You can pull stuff off if you want.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, all our parts. So, you know, our covers, obviously. And then our foams respective to whether it's the, you know, I got pilot and co-pilot out. This will be like the second set of seats and so on and so forth. In all my years of doing aircraft, even on like, you know, a guy brings in he's got a little tiny experimental plane. I just never saw foam like this. I just don't know why. You know, why it's like that. But so originally, that's the original foam right there.
Oh, wow.
Then somebody else covered it and put in another piece. And then somebody covered it again and put a piece in. And then finally, somebody covered it a last time. And each time they're trying not to spend money.
Right. And
they're trying to make it, but it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and puffier. And now all of a sudden the seat took on a whole new life. It went from a nice, crisp seat a gazillion years ago to this marshmallow, and the foam in it never was. It was like,
yeah, that was the problem. My wife and I just felt like the seats didn't look horrible, but they felt horrible.
If you sit in this seat and say you fly for an hour, all you're doing is sinking down. Pretty soon you're feeling the rails.
Yeah, I had that pain in my back.
Yeah, I mean, because instead of you sitting right here, you're sinking. And then so the back here, your tailbone and all is feeling the frame in the back.
Yeah.
And I'll show you what I mean. Like I got the pilot and co-pilot out. So to give you an example, you know, of where we're at. That's our original pilot seat.
Okay.
Without the cover.
Right.
Of course. So in all the years, no one ever, you can see that. Wow. That's factory. This seat, that's a factory. You can tell the foam on it. This is all original. The back's okay. It still needs to be redone. But you can see the seat bottom has actually sunk, and you can see the foam has sunk.
Right.
You know, like you're getting that foam at one time was straight.
Right.
Now, of course, this foam is like a poly. It's not, even day one, it wasn't a good foam. Great, yeah. It just wasn't a good foam. Now, you know, the seat needed to get cleaned up and brought back to re-webbed, cleaned, and done, and it's going to be painted.
Wow.
But I needed to do this so I could get you in to explain to you.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and then we'll take it apart and paint it and shoot it. This foam is real aircraft foam. It's not, none of that's cert.
Now, where's that made?
Chestnut Ridge. It's made right in Pennsylvania,
Oh, no
as a matter of fact. Yep. That's what, they're a big supplier. Also, that's where Bigfoot. I'm just kidding. I had to throw that in there. Eddie will love it because we tease about it.
Wow, that's so much nicer.
This is a nice foam. There's 2 grades here. I typically don't use different softness. I always go with the pink. Eddie said something about softer. We talked about you and
I don't think I want the soft.
Well, I only put, you can see, I put 1 inch of this purple, which is softer, but still a very good foam.
Right.
And I did the back in 2 different styles. I got a pink and I got the purple, which I like it for a back.
Right.
So, you know, we'll talk about that. I'll let you sit in it.
And this corner, this is where it dug in on me. Down here. Down on my hip.
Oh, absolutely.
So that won't, I'm not gonna have to worry about that anymore.
I'll tell you what, 70 more years, this foam will still be, you know, even though the seats can be covered, which they won't. But the point is, in 70 years, this foam will still be way better than this foam ever was brand new. This foam that was original to this seat, because you're sitting, you're down on the frame. You can actually feel.
Yeah, that's what I felt. And when we fly to Missouri, after about 2.5 hours, my hip is just
absolutely
on fire.
And you know, when I sit in this, I was also leaning. Okay, and that's not because of you. It's because over the years, people getting in and out of the plane, you kneel on the seat. So one side of the seat starts to go down, and they never really, nobody took the time to address that situation and just kept compound. So pretty soon the seat, it's that high, but it's still leaning.
Oh, right.
You know? So you and I had talked about width of the seat. So just to give you an example, all right, so, you know, I'll take whatever. All right, so it is the pilot seat. It doesn't matter, pilot, co-pilot.
Right.
Just to give you an idea, they're both about the same. That's our back, okay? So if I put that welt on the foam, that seat's almost 3 inches bigger.
Wow, and you know, when you have that off, this almost looks bigger.
And it's an illusion. That's why I told you were going to see. I needed to show you everything. What this seat was actually doing was this. They took that cover. I mean, even though that foam is a little wider, this foam is wider than this. This foam's only just a hair above the frame.
Okay.
You don't have a lot of room in an aircraft. I don't care what it is. You know, you look at the jets. To get into them, you still got to climb through the bulkhead, climb over the console, and you're in a tiny little area. You can't make that seat bulge. They did here. You know, my foam and my seat, my cover is like, they pulled it right. That's how wide that seat is.
Wow.
So I'm losing every bit of 2.5, 3 inches of cover on here, but it's going to look crisp and clean, and you're not going to, this seat, it feels firm, but I promise you, when you sit in it and fly, you're going to meld in a little, but
it's
very little. It'll be comfortable. When I was referring to car seats, I was just trying to give you the idea that, look, we're going to look somewhat like a car seat. It's going to have a little bolster. It's going to hug you. Obviously, this is not, you know, I didn't tailor the top yet.
Right.
And it still needs to be shaved, and I need to sand it. I just wanted to get you a feel for what we're, you know, what we're working on. I'm going to, at some point, and you know, I could have jacked it up on something, but when you're in an aircraft, you don't have much. You're tall, but you can still.
I basically, these sit on a spar, which is
6 inches, 8.
Maybe a little bit shorter than that box.
10 inches then. Okay.
Like maybe 8 inches.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I could even sit on it on the floor
Well,
if you don't mind.
Can, no. If you
if you don't mind.
Yep.
Let's see what do we do here. Oh, that's already, I can tell.
And I'm telling you, you have to. I know you're flat on the floor, so you're going to be up a little bit.
Oh, this is so much nicer. I can tell already.
And it's got a little bit right in here of a lumbar. Not, It's not super accentuated.
It really feels good.
It's
And this is nice too. It just rises just up to my hip, or the outsides of my legs. Oh, I'm excited about this.
You need to sit in that one real quick.
All right.
I know it's tough to get up. It is, even for me. I know you're tall.
I'm 6'5", so this.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
So if you sit in it for a minute or so, you can feel the rails.
I can feel the rails already.
Okay.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. That I can also tell. I feel more pressure on my back because my hips went automatically swiveled into the. Wow, what a difference!
I mean, that seat's the way a seat should be built. Period.
Right.
And then we accentuate on it by doing the bolster. I mean, today we got more people are doing bolsters. They didn't do that, you know.
It really makes a difference, right?
Absolutely.
It keeps you from floating outside the.
In this seat, you could never get centered on that seat because it was doing this.
Right. Yeah.
This seat, even if it didn't have the bolster, you're still sitting flat. Now just putting a little bolster in it, and keep in mind it'll get sanded, so it'll have just an ever little bit more of a hug to it.
Yeah.
And then it's got to be sanded in the bottom, of course, so that, you know, when it comes up, so the seat, you know, because we got to get in and out. And I mean, just to show you, you know, not trying to get crazy, but this, we did a little, I think it was a 170 to 180, whatever it was. But just to give you an idea of, okay, you're going to flip there, yeah. So it's just similar to this seat. It's basic. I was going to talk to you about, that's a top stitch.
Okay.
Okay, it's not, what was in your seat was a welt. And also, I don't bring it across the front. And the reason for that is, right here, you'll feel this edge.
Okay.
So it's up to you,
Especially
though.
when I have shorts on.
Well, I mean, you'll feel it no matter what. You can feel that little bit if you're flying for a period of time. I mean, if you're not going to fly for you, it probably won't bother you.
Right.
But if this is rounded and smooth, it's going to feel nice. They're going to be a firmer seat now than they were in this stage. This here, they just went down. You'd feel the rail before you'd feel this.
Right.
But typically, I try to make this one section, and this a section, and this whole, whatever we do in the center, whether it's pleat or design or whatever we're talking. We didn't even get that far yet.
Right.
But it'll be one smooth, it'll have a line in it or whatever, but it'll be smooth here. It'll take that much, it'll give you that much more comfort.
Right.
Just ever so little detail that you'll say, hey, you know, I never even thought of that.
I'm all for it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was we did a couple of years ago. Pretty basic, it's clean. I don't know if the phone isn't, you know, it was supposed to be a better phone, but it's got a little thing happening right there.
There you go. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. So you can see it's just that top stitch.
Okay.
It's smoother, it's cleaner.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about it.
I like it. Is this my leather?
This is yours, yes. And I'll tell you what, Eddie got it. Oh yeah, it's a nice piece of goods.
Now, is that vinyl?
This is vinyl.
Vinyl.
That is correct.
So I'm going to notice a big difference.
Oh, we're not. This might look. Well, this is leather on the insert. The insert was leather.
Okay.
Yep. Hey, he said it was. Am I wrong? No, it's leather.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this part is leather. But
This part
is
was
vinyl.
Correct.
Okay.
Everything on our seat is leather. Our headrest will be leather. Our armrests, and those armrests, they were whooped. I mean, and nobody. Look, I'm not. I hate to beat the guy up because you know what? Someday, somewhere along the line, somebody's going to take that apart, and hopefully they'll say, "Hey, that guy did a nice job."
Right.
I'm saying this guy didn't. You know, and maybe he couldn't. Maybe he didn't have the money. I have no idea why this happened the way it did, but
Does it look like an Airtex kit?
I'll tell you what, if that's air, this foam,
Oh, there's no way that would be Airtex.
yeah, I just don't look, they got a pretty good quality.
Yeah, I did my 182. Well, the previous owner did my 182 with Airtex, and I thought it was nice.
I mean, I don't have no complaints. Now, maybe 35 years ago or whenever they first came
That's
out.
true.
But they've come, AirTechs, I would put their covers on. I just did 2 planes last year, and they brought their own kits in.
But this was supposedly done in 2018, and it
Wow.
looks tired already.
Oh, yeah. Give it the reason.
But it might have been outdoors too.
But the
I don't
problem, I'm saying the problem with the cover is the foam.
know. Oh, right.
I don't care how good your cover is. If your foam's, I mean, you know when you
Yeah,
kneel
because
on
you're
that.
going to be stretching
Yeah,
it.
and you're constantly beating it up. But I mean, for example, like the headrest. You know, that headrest has not been touched since factory. It's just broke, it's beat. And that's a plastic part. Your part number's still on it.
Right.
So we got to, you know, obviously, we're not going to put that together. We're going to repair the headrest, make it new, and then put new foam. Like you could see, that's the original foam on this headrest.
Wow.
And then somebody added that, and then they added that, and so on and so forth. Same with the armrest. They just were never.
They never touched them.
Nah. They just built upon a bed. You know, the foundation was rough, and you know, if you build a house and the foundation's bad, and you build another one on top, and so on, it just keeps getting out of control. I got to show you this because this tells you. And I'm not yelling. I'm a loudspeaker.
Oh no,
if that's cool.
I'm all for it.
So
holy cow!
first of all, this should never be in an airplane. Cotton's flammable.
Wow.
Okay, we never in my wildest dreams would you ever even think about putting that in an aircraft, and yet that's through the whole job. Okay, so that tells me somebody at some point didn't have an idea about doing aircraft. They got everything they needed, but didn't really know rules, and it's not so much about a rule, it's about you.
Right, and this could have been 25 years
Could
ago.
have been. Yeah. I mean, if I'm in an airplane and I have a problem, I want to get out.
Right.
If you're going to put me in a place where fire is going to be accelerated that much more,
Right.
you know, we got governments in on our, obviously, everything we do has to be certified. But I'll tell you what, when you see a jet come down and 300 people get off it, and it starts to burn, not in the sky, but it burns on the ground, 90 seconds is what you got. That's why all those flame tests are telling you, you got so much, you got to have your product right.
Right.
You don't put that in. And then,
Holy cow!
that came out of those seats.
Is that can't be original?
Oh, no, it shouldn't even be in there. So what happened is somebody did not know how to cover the seats.
This too?
Yeah. That's sad.
Wow. Well, yeah, I guess I can see the leather there.
Yeah. And so what happens is they didn't know how to cover it or didn't have the products to be used. So they cut all this wood and they put the wood in so they could staple it. I don't want any, they had hog rings in there. They had, I just don't even know. Like this seat, this is all glued. No other product than glue. You can see that's all glued.
Yeah.
That'll be like, that's how my cover's going to go on. My cover will be glued and it will never come off, and it'll be crisp and tight and never look. I'm amazed when the guys took it apart. I'm like, where did you take that from? The seats. I said, no way. And then so they left one together and I went over, I'm like, I can't believe it. But
Wow.
that happens, you know, somebody didn't know. Ours will be glued, they'll be clean and crisp, and everything we work on there, our headrest, our armrest, they will all be repaired and fixed, brought back to an original state, and then covered. Got to fix them first, and then cover them, you know,
Right.
to make them right. So
Wow.
that's where we're at with
Pretty
it.
awesome.
At the end of the project, Eddie can do up a
log
stamp.
entry.
Yeah, it's a log entry,
Right.
and it'll explain everything. But you also have all your certs with it, so
Right.
that you know that this particular piece of leather came with a certain cert. This one came with a cert.
Right.
That, so on, the foam and.
Awesome. And then what about the actual design of the seat?
Correct.
You know, like this one had the.
Now, I didn't really talk to Ed, but I can do that in the next. You know, I haven't seen him in the last couple days, but on Monday, I can ask him to come up with a couple different ideas. Something.
Okay.
Are you opposed to? Well, what are your panels on your sides like on the?
It's all just solid. Or the
door panel
the
and
door
like the-
panels that run along the side. have like just kind of vertical,
So they got a pleat, sort
kinda
of like
that,
this.
yeah. But I don't. I think the seats can be whatever we
Okay.
want.
That's cool.
We can add a little flair to them, or
Okay, so we can come up with a simplistic, but and something a little,
some professional.
yeah, something to pop a little bit. Like in this guy's plane, he didn't want anything. He wanted it to be 100% plain. I get it. So all I did was I took, his plane was green, and he loved that color because he had it for his entire, but if you see just ever so slightly, you can see that green line.
Oh, right.
So I took one green stitch and one white stitch. And then what I did, if I have a picture of it, so I did one,
Oh, that's cool.
and then on the co-pilot seat, I did the other design. And then in the back, I just went right up the seat and split it. Now, I was thinking something a little more, you know, fancy
Yeah,
for this plane.
I think
you know,
so.
If we can,
it's a nice plane.
yeah, absolutely. So if
Yeah.
I can come up with a couple ideas and just send you like a picture or
That'd be
something and say,
perfect.
hey, can we do this or your thoughts, and then you say I'd like it, and okay, we go from there.
That's perfect. I'm excited.
Cool. Now I think, look, I think you're going to be well. I promise you'll be happy. How's that?
I'm already
Okay.
ecstatic over this. I'll